Hi guys, good evening. It's time to review once again our stocks in the Philippine market, and I understand a lot of us here are not so happy with what is happening in the market today. So let's take a look at them and find out. Okay, so let's first talk about PSEI. As you can see here, PSEI is has technically experienced a massive breakdown in the price, and this means that everything, all the stocks included in the index, because PSEI means Philippine Stock Exchange Index, and there are several companies included in the index, and right away, as you can see, there's a big chance that most of these companies have also experienced this price breakdown over here. So we first created a support in this level right at this area, but last Friday when the market opened, it did not even give us a chance. It just went all the way down. So with this kind of a movement, there is a big possibility that we might have some more bearish sentiment in the coming days. 4.08 billion um, exited or sold their positions. That's for net foreign selling. So what are we going to do? So at this point in time, we have to remind ourselves again what our objective is in this market. Okay, are we a position trader? Are we an investor, or are we a day trader? Because with this, it will influence whatever moves we have to take. Okay, so let's take a look at our stocks. Okay, so we've clicked on all stocks and sorted it according to the companies with the highest number of trades, and then we'll work our way downwards here. Okay, so as you can see, obviously it just followed the same fate as what we had in the index here for BPI, because this is part of the index. Massive sell-off here. We are at the oversold level, but no signs of possible reversal yet. Okay, it is possible that you can be lingering at the oversold area for uh, a prolonged time. So this one, we are right at the 25 level. Let's continue. So where could we possibly check? So if you are, so this is what I was mentioning earlier. If you are a position trader, this is not a good position yet. You do not have a confirmation of a possible change in direction. For investors, if you have invested somewhere near or somewhere here, let's say you've entered around 90 or 80, this should not create a panic in you. You should not. Yes, of course, we cannot deny the fact that you can be concerned about the situation, but you have to remember, you got into this company because you wanted to invest. That means you are not looking at getting out, or you're not looking at selling your position anytime soon. We're talking about years here. In fact, if you have the right perspective about the situation, this should look attractive to you, because this will allow you to add more volume at a discounted price. But given that we are now very bearish here, that means I can say that there is a big chance that you can even haggle at a much lower price. That's what we are trying to find out next. For example, this one, where could it fall? So let's expand our search to a weekly time frame. So we might be able to see that. Let's see. Okay, so the next possible area to monitor would be this level, 65.52, And if that still breaks, let's check this, because this used to be a resistance area. Okay, so your previous resistance can become a support when price breaks, or when you experience a decline in the price. And this happened back in 2011. So imagine this. This is interesting because people who may have started investing back in 2011, you got the price that they have purchased this, or they have got in um, for BPI. There, oops, there you have it. So previous resistance, when the price goes down, will become a support. This one as well, the reason why I said that is because there was a support that happened here. So it's possible that you could have another support formed in that area. So I'm now just plotting two areas for you to monitor: 65.52 and 59.44 area. So that's an area. So it could be slightly higher or slightly lower. Euro, euro, interesting. 51,000. You're at an overbought area, so be extra careful still, because this is not a very common stock. So, but there is a possibility, because that this might continue to move up, because I see that the volume for the selling is quite low versus the ones for buying. So when we had a red candlestick back in back on February 3rd, the volume was in this level. And then the next day we had a green candlestick, and then the volume was high, and then people were not selling that much on the 17th of Feb, week of Feb 17th, I mean, because we're in a weekly chart. So as you can see, each time you had a climb here, the volume is significant compared to the selling, but still your call. For me, I still find this as already a high level, but if you want for if you want to haggle, I think the most realistic and conservative level would be 2.66 in case. All right, so just let those people join, not you, because just in case it might drop again, you're already too high up here. Okay, so imagine for those people who may have entered 4.48. I don't know if they were able to cut their losses when it declined up to this level. Okay, just be conservative at this point because the market is very bearish. ICT, ICT also triggered the lower Bollinger Band, and I think with the climb that it experienced for months, okay, it's fair that it will also rest. So it's just, oh, I think it's expected for the stock to really rest. And we are looking at the weekly chart here. So there's a chance that it might revisit your 101.56 level. The reason why I said that is because I saw this price consolidating at that area. Whenever price hits that level, it bounces, and then um yeah, so that's the nearest support that I see. Okay, now let's see how will it potentially move tomorrow. Okay, so there you have it. There's a big chance that this area will be revisited as well. 101.56, that is the support that we see at the moment. Now JFC. JFC still on a decline. Look at the volume of the selling is still high. So the volume, the selling sentiment is still um, highly observed in this stock. And while it's true that your RSI is giving you a um, bullish divergence while the price is moving downwards, it's this one is moving up. We still recommend that you be very conservative in entering the stock because we want to wait for a green candlestick, let's say an engulfing green candlestick, to end within the Bollinger Band for us to say that we might have a change in direction, something like this. Okay. Let's take a look at the weekly chart to have a better view of the overall direction. Okay, see that it's still moving downwards. Where could it possibly land next? That would be 151 level in a weekly chart. Okay, so let's find out and see if we'll have stabilization or sideways movement. Once we see that move in sideways around 150, then that would mean that we've reached somehow the bottom, and then the next course of action would be to change the direction, and now we are going to move upwards. BDO, BDO the same, still moving downwards. Use this as our support, 124. Okay, that's an area. Reason why I said that is we screened it downwards. As we look to the left, do we see any? So this used to be a resistance right here. Okay, so let's just plot that. Okay, right, so let's justify it. This used to be a resistance. There was some support that happened here. This and this. Okay, so that's the reason why we plotted a line there. Also this one, look at this. So previous resistance, several occasions when this was hit, price was bouncing. Also this one. So that means there are two areas to monitor, 133.88 and 124. At the same time, you take a look at your um, RSI. We are not yet at the oversold level, so that means it could still go down. So let's wait for the price to hit oversold so we can be a little more conservative. And Ali, I'm now looking at the weekly chart so that we really would see the overall direction of the stock, because in the daily chart, given that we have a very bearish market recently because of what's happening around the globe, what you see in the dailies might blur you or might cloud your overall decision. So look at the weekly chart so you see the overall trend of the market in this particular stock, I mean. Okay, so let's plot this area as a possible support. One. Okay, and this one, 35.19 or 35.38. Okay, so these are the areas to check out. You screen to the left, do you see consolidation? There it is. One became a resistance right here. See that? Another resistance right here. So it makes it stronger. Now when that breaks, you also have the next support that we see here. Okay, the ones that I encircled are the key areas that will justify why we are plotting these on this respective areas for these respective areas as support. That's because each time the price is hit, there could either be a bounce or there could either be a resistance that's happening. When there is a bounce, then that would mean it is a support. When some price is resisting, that would mean it's a ceiling. I mean, it's a resistance here. Okay, so 37.93 and 35.10. Let's continue. We're going to check MBT. Still on a downtrend as well. This stock is still part of the index. So let's take a look from this bottom. Let's see if it will create a bounce in this level or maybe stabilization in this level, because one, I don't have a mouse. I'm just using the mouse pad of my laptop. Okay, so look at this. In the weekly chart, you have your resistance here that became a support here. This one as well is a resistance area, and we're revisiting that right now. So probably 55 level, 55.38 or 55 to be exact, would be a key area to watch out and use as our support. Okay, that's the nearest. Now, if that gets broken, that's a different story. Let us say tomorrow price starts at 55 and most of the action happens downwards, then that would mean there's a brand new wave to the negative side, meaning it might downtrend might continue to persist for MBT. AC. Heavy selling as well for AC. And we're outside the Bollinger Band, so I think that we will still have. And look at the volume. Volume is a bit high. Look at this significant drop with, paired with volume. JGS. JGS. See, is the price moving upwards? Yes, it is a little bit. Okay, now let's look to the left. Do we see an area where it could possibly bounce? I think it's gonna be 63.17. Will be conservative first. There you go, 63 area, 62.91, 63. That would be an area, and the reason why we said that is because there's an obvious um, here one, and then this area as well. Okay, now let's see if because look at this, there was also a resistance here, right? This level. So two areas again, guys. 66.32. If you won't stabilize in that area and it drops further, next is 62.91. So that's how we plot it, layer by layer. We look to the left. Do you see a price consolidating at a certain area? Then check if that could act as a possible support. SECB. SECB is okay. Hopefully this area will also sustain. You had a support in this level, right? Support here. That was a previous resistance here. And if that happens, we might revisit that. Okay, 153 pesos area. URC, okay, let's use this as our support. 136.50. Okay, around that. Um, so when this price gets hit 136.72, and then you have a pattern that still looks the same as what we have right now. Okay, so currently the price is moving upwards. That means you have a bullish divergence. And when the price, let us say, hits 136.72 around that area, and then you still have the same pattern in RSI, that means we might consolidate within the range first before it gives us a lift in the price. Okay, so let's justify this first. This one, support, support, that became a resistance right here. Okay, so that's the reason why we're plotting it at that area. So just monitor. Okay, SM, SM is trying to stabilize now. Let's use this as our support. 960, no, this 965.98, that level. Yeah, 968. Do you see that? Do you see why I plotted it there? Double bottom right here. Oops. 968. Anyway, it's an area. Let's just use that. Okay, this double bottom, and then your RSI is moving to the upside. And then this used to be your resistance right here. Look at that. Each time it touches this level, there's rejection. Now, this one as well, right? Overshoot a little bit, but that's fine. It's already within the range. So when the previous resistance, we break that, then it will revisit this, the same area. That's why it is revisiting it here. Okay, so I feel that SM will just probably stabilize within this range now, and then might continue to move up. Okay, I think this is it for the first part of our stock market insights. Today is March 1st, 2020, and let's check this out again. My recommendation is right after the market closes tomorrow, go back to this video and see if our insights, our analysis is correct. And whatever correct information you get from here, bring that to your trades, or bring that to your bring that to your trades. And that's how we learn things. I also use this as my own journal because I do the same. Okay, so in the meantime, please do subscribe to our channel for you to be updated each time we have new videos. Okay, so I might record a part two of this one. In the meantime, thank you guys for watching our video. Bye bye for now.